It's mailbag time here on NFL Daily, and today's show is presented by Manscaped. I know March Madness has been wild. If you want your girl to be wild with you, then go to manscaped.com/chat, 20% off and free shipping on the best male grooming products out there. My lines, my pickup lines, they're not always smooth. Me being real with y'all. But you know what is always smooth? Yeah, you guys can connect the dots. So here on the mailbag, I'm answering y'all's questions. Remember, this show was filmed on Wednesday at 6 p.m. Eastern Time, 3 p.m. Pacific. The first question coming in here on NFL Daily is a super chat from the Past Master. Mitch, what do you think about the Vikings going corner in round 1, then corner in round 2 as well? Shout out to Anthony B. Great work as always, Chat Sports. Well, the fact that the Minnesota Vikings just went ahead and they re-signed Patrick Peterson, that definitely takes their need at corner and drops it down a little bit. Yes, I still think that they could go out and add another corner because it was a major issue for the team last season. But now I don't think they go round 1 and round 2. If I was Minnesota, I would look to add more of edge rusher help. I still would potentially look at another corner, but maybe you do that in round 2. If somebody like, I don't know, I don't think it happens at this point, Sauce Gardner slides to you at 12, then sure, you absolutely jump all over that. But the Past Master, appreciate the Superman. Let's go to Mark, the other super chat that came in. Do you have a cornerback for Dallas? We got Diggs and use the number 2. A cornerback last year, Lewis and Brown, are not all pros, but solid. We got huge holes at guard, defensive tackle, and defensive end. Well, I know Tom Downey was just talking to me in the studio about a mock draft that ended up going down with Derek Stingley Jr. going to Dallas. That would be pretty interesting to me. I think he's a phenomenal talent, though I would be surprised if he fell down to 24. What's going to be interesting with the cornerback market is you got Sauce Gardner. I think he's going to be the new number 1 cornerback taken. I like Trent McDuffie out of Washington. He's a pretty good player, good coverage corner. Derek Stingley Jr. is another name. With Murphy, the cornerback from Clemson, he just had hernia surgery today. Some teams might not be as high on him now. Really curious to see what they decide to do at corner. But we'll see. We'll see if they end up ultimately taking a corner in round 1. Manny Fernandez, you're next up here on NFL Daily. Thoughts on the Vikings drafting Jermaine Johnson at number 12? I think it's kind of funny where Jermaine Johnson, when the whole draft process started, wasn't, I don't even think, near the first round. Then more people started watching him. More of the hype started coming out. More of these draft analysts like, this guy's really good. And now he has a legitimate shot to go in the top 10. Like, I've seen mock drafts that have Jermaine Johnson going in the top 10. Now, Johnson grew up in Minnesota. I know there's a lot of Viking fans that like that. And if you're not 100% sold on Danielle Hunter being healthy, which I don't blame you whatsoever, and you feel like, all right, Jermaine Johnson, good defensive end, helps us create that edge rush help because you got to get after Justin Fields and you got to try to make Aaron Rodgers' life hell. I don't hate the pick, but I also don't think it's the biggest team need for Minnesota. So how about this, y'all? Are the Vikings, are they the best team in the NFC? I'm going to say no, but I want to know from all y'all, who is the best team in the NFC? Because a lot of the big moves that have happened this offseason have gone to the AFC. The AFC is stacked, but I don't want to sit here and not take away from the NFC because you got the Super Bowl champs, then you got the Super Bowl champs from the year before, the Buccaneers with Tom Brady, but then I do think that there is a lot of open for discussion of who's the best team after that. I see people typing Packers, which I understand, but are the Packers better than what they were last season? I don't think so. You lost Devontae Adams. You lost a few other key players. But let me know down in those comments, y'all, who is the best team in the NFC. Alexander M., you're next up here on NFL Daily. Baked 420 Mayfield to be a backup on the Raiders. No. Sorry, man, there's just no way that's going to happen. Like, the Raiders aren't going to trade for Baker, first off. And if you trade for him, then you got to pay him $18.8 million. No NFL team in their right mind would ever pay Baker Mayfield $18.8 million to be a backup quarterback. If he wants to be a backup after they get released or something like that, potentially, but even then, I still see Baker wanting more money. And if I was Mayfield, I would try to go to a team that isn't so heavily invested in their quarterback. And I know people don't want to hear this, at least some people. The Raiders are all in on Derek Carr. Let's go to Anifi? I don't know. Anfini? Will Skylar Thompson be a sleeper in day 3? I'm going to say no. I've seen Skylar play a lot. My boss, Brett, big K-State guy. I don't see it, man. Like, he's there's some quarterbacks who are fun to watch in college. That's Skylar Thompson. Skylar Thompson was a good college quarterback. Ian Book, good college quarterback. Sam Ehlinger, good college quarterback. The transition to NFL is not going to be kind to him. So, sorry, I don't see him being a sleeper. Not saying that he won't get drafted at all. I just don't think that he is going to end up ever being worth a pick in the NFL draft. Now, remember, y'all, I told you, I'm silky smooth. Why? Because of awesome Manscaped products that we got. And if you want to get your hands on, then you got to go to manscaped.com/chat, 20% off and free shipping. The reason why it's called the perfect package is because if you use the Lawnmower 4.0, if you use the ball deodorant, if you use the ball toner, your balls are going to look perfect. Plus, the boxers that come in that case are the most comfortable boxers you have ever worn. I promise you, not only do they feel like you're not wearing anything, they hold everything together, which that's a really important thing the last time that I checked. So free shipping, 20% off. It's manscaped.com/chat. Remember, you need to go to that link. That way they know who sent you. Let's go to Sean, the RC mechanic. Chin up. Could the Falcons draft Kayvon Thibodeau with the 8th pick and a quarterback in Desmond Ridder the 2nd or the 3rd round? All right, so could the Falcons draft Kayvon Thibodeau? I don't think he's going to be there at pick 8. I personally think the Giants will take him at either 5th or 7th, and then Desmond Ridder in the 2nd or 3rd round. Again, if Ridder is there in round 2, he could be interesting to me, but Ridder falls into the category, like I just talked about those other quarterbacks. I don't think Desmond Ridder is worth a 2nd or a 1st round pick. I'm going to stay away from him. He looked good in college at times. If he's there in the 3rd round, sure, Atlanta can be more open to it. I would actually think that Ridder has a better chance of being successful than Marcus Mariota does in that offense long term. But I can't sit here and say that I'm excited about Desmond Ridder, man. Let's go to Ronnie Ray. Giants have 2 third-round picks. Would it be smart to draft a quarterback like Carson Strong? You know, it's funny. I actually talked about this the other day on my Raiders show where I was like, if I was Carson Strong and somebody told me, what team would you want to go to? My answer would be the New York Giants. Now, obviously, you're not going to go to the Giants at pick 5, pick 7. I don't think Carson ended up taken even in the 2nd round. Maybe there's a team that wants to go ahead and take that risk because of the talent. I think he's got the strongest arm in the draft, and he's got that big body. When Josh Allen came out from Wyoming, big body, big arm, terrible tools. What happened? Brian Dable was able to work with him. If I was Carson Strong, I would like to try to go to the New York Giants. Now, to make sure you guys don't miss anything this offseason, because remember a few months ago, I was telling y'all the offseason gets wild? Yeah, the last 2 weeks have been absolute proof of that. And guess what? We've been going live an insane amount. You guys get at least 2 videos every single day, and we're going to be live every Monday, every Wednesday, every Thursday, just giving you content. That's what the offseason is about. Content, and we're 100% free, so I think it's a hell of a deal. So subscribe and turn on those noties. Let's go to James. What's up, my guy? Do you think that the Saints target a running back in the draft if Kamara's legal issues aren't sorted out? Do I think that the Saints target a running back? Yes. Do I think that Kamara is going to get suspended this season? Yes, I do. And in fact, if I were to bet on it right now, I think there's a more likely chance that Kamara gets suspended for like 6 games, appeals it, ends up dealing with a 4-game suspension, and then New Orleans has to figure a situation out. I can also say, though, with 2 running backs like Latavius Murray and Devonta Freeman both being free agents, you could potentially see them bring in those guys instead of drafting a running back a little bit later on. But I do see the Saints addressing the running back position. Yes. Let's go to, Ogre Stizzle. I was going to say Orgy Styles. Should the Lions draft a quarterback? Yes, they should. I do not believe in Jared Goff. He's just not going to be the guy. But I do not want the Lions to draft a quarterback at pick number 2 overall. Because if you do that, you're essentially throwing him to the Lions. Like, he's just going to be absolutely done for. I think if Detroit was smart, if Aiden Hutchinson is gone at pick 1, which I believe he's going to be gone, you try to trade down from pick 2, because I think there's going to be a team out there that wants to try to trade up for a quarterback. It happens every single season. And with the Lions, the amount of holes that you have on offense and on defense, you trade down, and if you're able to get a quarterback like a Matt Corral at pick number 32, I think that's tremendous value. Evan Hinders, what's up, my dog? Vikings trade 2/3 for Logan Thomas. Why? Logan Thomas is a good tight end. He's good. I'm not going to give up 2 third-round picks for Logan Thomas. Does Minnesota need a tight end? Sure they do. But I'm not giving up 2 third-round picks for Logan Thomas. Sorry, homie. It's not going to happen. So out of all the quarterbacks in the AFC North, I want to know who's the best, because we had this debate the other day at Chat Sports, and this was before the Deshaun Watson deal went down, and I actually haven't gone live to have the debate with y'all. But if you had to pick from these 4 quarterbacks, who's the best? Is it Deshaun Watson? Type 4. If it's Lamar Jackson, type 8. Joe Burrow, type 9. Yeah, it's either 4, 9, or 8. You can't trust anybody with the first name of Mitchell. I'm sorry. He shouldn't even be on screen realistically. So who do y'all think is the best quarterback in the AFC North? Let me know down in the comments. Let's go to my guy, Trill Will 609. The Seahawks have been linked to Cam Newton. Does it make sense for Seattle? If I was Cam Newton and I said what I said in terms about wanting to compete for a starting job, I think Seattle's actually one of the better places that you can go ahead and do that. However, I wouldn't want Cam Newton as my starting quarterback. But I do think Seattle and Cam make at least a little bit of sense to come in there and compete with Drew Lock. Maybe they decide to run the football a little bit more, which you're going to be able to do with Cam. More zone option. I do think it makes sense. However, I wouldn't want to be a team that pays Cam Newton anything more than $5 million a year. Andre, what up, brother? Hey, Mitch, do you see the Raiders trading future years' picks for a first or second round pick this year, since this draft is in Vegas and is also the first draft for McDaniels and for Ziegler? I know the rumors that have been out there about the Raiders wanting to try to get back into the second or the first round. Here's the thing, though, man. Are you going to give up your first and your second round pick in next year's draft to get into the first this year? Because, it's not that easy. You can't be all right, hey, I'll give you a 2023 first. That way it can come up into the first round this year. That's just not how it works. I personally see the Raiders being aggressive. I don't know if that means that they're going to try to trade away some of the current players on their team, but I see the more likely scenario is finding 2 or 3 players on the Raiders' current roster that you can move on from. Getting in the first round, don't see that happening. Getting into the second round, though, that one shouldn't be slept on. Now, we get a lot of questions that always come up here on these shows, and I'm sorry I can't get to all of them. But always remember, if you have a question for me, if you want to get to know me on a more personal basis, you can always hit me up on Instagram, slide in those DMs at Mitchell Renz 365. So let me know who y'all got. NCAA March Madness Final Four. I got a few friends coming in from Kansas to watch the Jayhawks play, though it's probably the team that I want to see lose the most. Sorry, Tyler. So let me know who you got. Nova, KU, UNC, or Duke. I want to see a Nova and Duke championship game. I'd be happy with either of those winners, which is probably an unpopular opinion for some people. The only team that I don't want to see win, yeah, it is probably the Jayhawks, which is funny because when the whole March Madness thing started, I've only won the March Madness tournament 2 times in 17 years of my family March Madness bracket thing that we do. And both of those years I took Kansas. So if it happens again, man, I just got to take the Jayhawks every single year. All right, let's go to this next comment from Imagine Gnarly. All right, Imagine Gnarly friend. The Packers traded away Adams. Green Bay also has 2 fourth-round picks. Could the Dolphins get a 4th-round pick for DeVante Parker? So essentially, Green Bay gives up a 4th-round pick to Miami for DeVante Parker. If you end up doing that, you're essentially going to have to pay Parker $5.6 million this year, and it's around $5 or $6 million next season as well. If I was the Packers, I would look into this simply because you need an outside receiver, you need an X, and that's what Parker is. Plus the fact that Miami just went ahead and traded for Tyreek Hill. Not that they don't need DeVante. If I was Tua and I was the Dolphins, I would try to keep him. Though Parker's probably going to be the 4th option on that team. He might even be the 5th option in terms of overall targets. So a 4th-round pick for Miami, somebody's going to be your 4th or 5th round, or 5th target, I do think makes sense. I think it makes sense for both sides. This is going to be the last one on the first mailbag. What up, Cujo? Appreciate the super chat. Who should the Chargers sign at right guard and at right tackle? It's a good question. Personally, right tackle is somebody that you can't really go out and get in the draft, so my top right tackle is still available. I think Bobby Massey's a name to keep in mind. David Quessenberry is a name to keep in mind. Billy Turner just signed somewhere, right? Yeah, Billy Turner just signed somewhere. I'm trying to think of some other names off the top of my head. I don't think you're going to be able to convert Dwayne Brown to a right tackle. He's more of just your offensive tackle. And then right guard. Right guard is a sticky situation when it comes to free agency because I think a lot of the better guards out there are on the left side. So maybe that's the position that the Chargers decide, you know what? We're going to go out and try to address that one in the draft.